Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles, the elders of the great millstone, and peace and blessings to the Akim, doing his work in sincerity and truth. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. Right, so that serpent is representing Edom, Esau, which he was bound for 1,000 years and was loosed. And when he was loosed, he was out to deceive the whole world, through his philosophies. So that's representing that flood, that was cast out of his mouth. It was that flood that he would cast it after the woman, which represents Israel. Okay, all right, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. But ultimately, who's going to be carried away of that flood will be the 2/3, man, who's not going to be able to come to this truth. You see? So that flood represents that these philosophies out here that Edom, Esau puts out there, that our people get caught up in, So their sole purpose of the serpent was to deceive the whole world, Verse 16, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up which the dragon cast out of his mouth, And basically the earth is helping the woman, which is Israel, simply because of the relics that are still upon the earth, that when you go into the scriptures back up these present these times that were aforetime, to where it backs up in the scriptures with these earthly relics that are left behind, So there's a lot of things that are left behind, to tell our story and our history, But Edom, he's so caught up in idols, that he causes his tongue to fall upon himself, these idols that they actually worship, are still here in the earth, And one example of that is these pyramids here in from Egypt, man, and these were part of the treasure cities, and these basically is these were actually built by the Hebrew Israelites in slavery, okay, all right, which still stand today, which is which is worshipped by Edom, okay, all right. These pyramids are what you find on the back of their dollar bills that they have in circulation today, okay. So they serve some type of power behind on the left hand side, for to do Satan's will, okay, all right. But we're going to get the account of these pyramids, all right. This is Exodus chapter 1. All right, I'm going to start at 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt, every man of his household with Jacob. So basically, verse 2, it goes to the tribes: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was already in Egypt. Now, we already know that Dan is not really counted as part of the 12 tribes, though. But Joseph, which his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, all right, basically were basically grafted in, okay, all right. Reading on. And Joseph died and all his brethren of that generation, right? But it tells you, it goes into verse 7, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Okay, Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Okay, so a new pharaoh came upon, that rose up in Egypt that didn't know Joseph. Okay, because the old pharaoh, the Lord put the spirit upon that pharaoh to show favor in Joseph's eyes, in the eyes of Joseph. Okay, so Joseph was basically technically second in command in Egypt. Okay, so now this new pharaoh rose up that knew not Joseph, right? And he said unto his people, this is the new pharaoh that said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more mightier than we. He said, come and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, so to get them up out the land. All right. So this is when the affliction started happening with us here. So he said, come now, let us deal with them wisely, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when they fall out any war, they join themselves to our enemies and fight against us upon the land. All right. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. Okay, and this is basically what you see here. Okay, with these relics that are still here on the earth. Okay, so this is basically left behind to tell our story. Okay, this is to tell our story of our slavery. Okay, that we suffered in Egypt. Okay, all right. I just want to grab a quick precept. All right, this is Genesis chapter 15. I'm gonna jump down to okay, I'm gonna jump down to basically the 13th chapter. Okay, now this is Abram. Okay, before he was called Abraham, he fell into a deep sleep. Okay, so the Lord was dealing with him. Okay, this is our forefather. Okay, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. Okay, all right, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Right? Reading on. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. Okay, so this was a future prophecy that the Lord had put upon had revealed unto Abram. Okay, when he was in a deep sleep. Okay, this was a future prophecy that happened, and back here in Exodus, this was basically came to pass, that we were going to serve our enemies in a land that we know it's not. You see? Okay. So this was one aspect of the relics that were left behind. Okay. All right. That's in the scriptures. Okay. And we were slaves that actually built these treasure cities, and they still stand today. You know, you got a lot of these people in the black conscious community, though. They worship these actual idols here. Okay. But we were the actual people that actually built them in slavery. Okay. All right. So the people running around calling themselves Hebrews, basically calling themselves Israelites, or just calling themselves Jews. Okay. They were not the ones that built these under slavery. Okay. All right. It was your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Okay. All right. All right. The people that the chief house of Edom, which is Amalek, they don't even never had the stature or the fortitude to even build something like this. Okay. All right. This is not in their DNA to do something like this. Okay. All right. They need to really give it a true account of when they actually did this. Them as a people. Okay. So now you claim yourselves to be a Jew. Okay. Or the children of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. you have to really give evidence that you actually built these. Okay, all right, and there is none. Okay, all right. So that's just one aspect of how the earth is swallowing up that flood, man. That Edom put out here, man. You know, because we still have relics today that we can go back into the scriptures, okay, and back it up through the scriptures, man. You know. Let me get all right, I'm gonna pull it up though. I'm gonna pull it up out here. All right, this is Second Esdras, chapter 9, verse 1. And he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the earth in which he made. So I bring the scripture out basically to go into the scripture that's in Revelation, okay, stating, okay, how the earth basically swallowed up the flood, okay, all right. The earth basically is helping the woman, okay, for edification's sake, okay, for truth's sake. You see, okay, we're gonna get it again, right? You know, verse 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened up her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And basically, when you go back into history and when you go back into these relics, which they worship as idols, is swallowing up that flood. Okay? All right, verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. So this is that time that we're coming in now. Okay? And through the prophet Esdras, though, it told us to measure the time diligently in itself. Okay, so this is gonna come into that time that we're in now, which is in Revelation chapter 12, verse 17. All right, so continuing on with how the earth helped the woman. Okay, we're gonna get into we're going to get into the Ark of Titus. Okay? All right? Now, we're going to get into a little bit of this history here. All right? And basically, this is when Titus, okay? Vespasian and Titus, okay? Vespasian which was Titus, which was Vespasian's son, sacked Rome, sacked Jerusalem in 70 AD. Okay? Okay? And I want to just grab an account of that and let's see. This is Luke 21 and 20. All right. And when y'all should see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Okay. Then let them which are of Judea flee into the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereof. Okay. For these are the days of vengeance, all things which are written may be fulfilled. Okay, so this is basically going into the sack of Jerusalem, you know, and this was that time when Titus came in and sacked Jerusalem. Okay? All right? Let me get it back here. All right? Okay? And this was an ark that they commemorated, that they celebrated the downfall of Jerusalem. Okay? Let me get it up. Satan. Okay. Now I want to get into a little bit of this, right? All right. The Ark of Titus, all right, is a 1st century AD horrific ark located in Via Scotta, Rome, just southeast of the Rome Forum. It was constructed in 82 AD by the Emperor Domitian, shortly after the death of his older brother Titus, to commemorate Titus's victories, including the siege of Jerusalem, 70 AD. The ark has provided the general model for many triumphal arks erected since the 16th century. Perhaps most famously is the inspiration of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, France. Okay, so there's several other replicas of this ark, okay, that are in this form or fashion, okay? But this basically goes into the sack of Jerusalem, okay? All right? So now they're celebrating this now. Now, you have, okay, let me get a couple of pictures of it though. All right? Okay, now this is the Romans actually taking the treasures out of the temple and carrying it back into their lands. These were the spoils, okay, of Yahweh's temple. This is Lamentations. All right, chapter 2. All right, verse 15. Okay, all that pass clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, "Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth?" All right. Verse 16. All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth, saying, "We have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day we looked for. We have found, we have seen it." Okay. The Lord Yahweh have done that which he have devised. So this was all done by Yahweh. All right. All right. He's the one that set us up a kingdom, man. He put these people this was his whipping stick, man. Okay. All right. He put them against us, man. He had fulfilled his word that he commanded in the days of old. Why? By the words of his prophets, man. He had thrown down and not pity, and he have caused thy enemy to rejoice over thee. He have set up the horn of thy adversaries. So it's the Lord, it's of the Lord that sets up the horn of our adversaries, man. Any nation that is being risen up through history, though, it is by Yahweh, man, the supreme being, man. He's the one that raises up these nations, man. He's the one that's raised up these nations to go up against us, man. Why? It's because we broke the commandments and laws, man. Okay, all right? We broke that covenant, man. Okay? So this is the reason why we're in the state that we're in, okay? But these people, they basically are rejoicing over this, okay? All right? And this is a major tourist attraction, okay? So my thing is saying, why aren't the so-called Jews in the uproar over this relic, man? Over this ark, man? Okay? All right? You even have a replica of this in Washington Square Park. okay, of the same fashion though, but it's not of Archetypus though, but it's built in that same fashion, man. Just letting you know that these are the same people, man. You know, these are the same people. You see, you know, but they celebrate this, man. This is a major tourist attraction, man, which people which Edomites go see. Okay, so this was of pure gold. This menorah was of pure gold. Okay, all right. All of these precious treasures that were in the Lord's temple, man, they took out of, man. And this is how they celebrated our downfall, man. Okay, they clapped their hands at thee, man. You know, and through the Spirit, man, these people come to this tourist attraction, and they basically know the history, man. You know, don't let them fool you, man. They basically know the history, man. You see, all right. This is a taking down of our people, man. This is a celebration of them taking down our people, man. You know, and another thing here, okay, when you're going back here is this thing called the Judea-Copter coinage. Okay, now I want to read a little bit of this though. The Judea captive coinage, also spelled Judea-Copter, was a series of commemorative coins originally issued by the Roman Emperor Vespasian to celebrate the capture of Judea and the destruction of the Jewish Second Temple by his son Titus in 70 AD during the First Jewish Revolt. Okay, all right. So, these were minted coins. Okay, that were made in the downfall of our people. You know what I'm saying? All right. Reading on. There are several variants of the coinage. The reverse of the coins show a female representing Jerusalem, seated right in attitude of mourning in the base of the palm tree, with either a captive bearded male representing Judah standing left with his hands bound behind his back, or standing figure of a victorious emperor of the goddess victory with a trophy of weapons, shields, helmets to the left. So I'm going to try to get a close-up of this though, right? And I want to grab a quick scripture. All right, that woman representing Jerusalem. Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 6. Verse 2, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. Okay, so that woman does represent Israel, which they got right. These devils got it right, man, when breaking that down with this coinage, man. And this bearded man was us being in captivity, man. Okay, and the daughter, which represents Israel, is in mourning. We was in mourning at that time, man. Okay, and these are minted coins, okay, that they put in circulation, man. This is a Roman centurion ruling over us, having a rule over us, or having a dominion over us, though, and we're bound behind our back, man, on our knee, and this is a submission position, okay, all right. So they had these coins minted, okay. Another way of them celebrating our captivity, man, you know, and these coins go for thousands of dollars right now if and Edomites trade them amongst each other, okay, all right. So they know the history, man. They know the history, okay. They know the history, you know. But you know, there's just a couple of relics that are out here in the earth, man. You know, another one that we have here is this right here. This is in the front of the Museum of Natural History, which has Theodore Roosevelt. Okay, he was a general in the U.S. Army. Okay, all right, and it shows you this is a perfect example of us being conquered here. Okay, all right. You have to the right of him, which is representing the Northern Kingdom. Okay, which is Gad, Reuben, in the Latin tribes, so-called Latin tribes, and then to the right of him, okay, to the left of him, Salakia, you have Judah, which is basically representing Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, okay, and this is in submission. This is basically in submission, okay. So and 6. And it reads, folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place, man. Okay? So, basically, all of this that's going on right now on the earth, man, is folly. All right? According to Yahweh Bashim Rashad, man. In his eyes, this is all folly, you know? And he knows, he's saying that this folly is set in great dignity, man. And the rich sit in a low place, man. And that's the low place that we're sitting in, man. You know? Okay, this is a low place, man. We on our feet, man. This is a low place right here, man. Okay, this horse represents power, man. Okay, all right, and you have these heathens that's over us, man. That's on in the power seat, man. Okay, all right, right. I have seen serpents upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth, man. Okay? All right? Let's get that, man. Okay? Let's get servant. Okay? All right? Servant upon horses, man. A slave, a servant, slave, servant, manservant, subjects, servants. Okay, all right. Servant in his special sense as prophets, though that didn't apply to them, man. But basically, this is a slave or a servant, man. Okay, all right. So he said, "I seen servants upon horses," right? I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as slaves. Walking as servants on the earth, man. Let's get Prince, man. Okay? Prince, ruler, leader, chief, chieftain, official, captain, chieftain, leader, vassal, noble, official, under king, captain, commander, general, military, chief, head, overseer, other official classes, heads, princes of religious office, man. Elders of representative leaders of people, man. All right. Merchant princes of rank and dignity. Okay. Patron, angel, rulers of rulers, man. Of the Most High, man. Awarded. You know what I'm saying? So this is basically the state that we're supposed to be in, man. You know, but we're put in a lower state, man. Okay. And the scriptures bring this out, man. And this is also a heavy tourist attraction, okay? You know, you have people from all over the world that come to this museum weekly, on a daily basis, man. And what I find too, which is amazing, is that you see a lot of northern kingdom people coming here, and they're actually taking pictures with this statue, which is in front of the museum. They actually take pictures of this statue, you know. I see a lot of Northern Kingdom people taking pictures of this, man. When I'm in my daily goings, you know, and you know, the Northern Kingdom is heavy into idols, man. They look at this as an idol, man. But this is not to commemorate your heritage, man. This is the destruction of your heritage. Slakia. You see, you know. But I just want to bring out these earthly relics, man, you know, that are put upon the earth, that are here, man, and we can just go through the scriptures and pull these relics in this time periods out of the scriptures. You see, you know, and this is basically how the earth is helping the woman, man, with that flood, man, and this flood of lies, man. You know why? It's because we could back it up through the scriptures, man. Okay. We could back up all of these relics and everything else through the scriptures, man. You see? So this is just a little lesson, you know, concerning the relics that are part of our history, you know, that are still on the earth for edification's sake. So with that, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the Akim doing his work, and sincerity and truth. Shalom.